There we go. All right. Welcome, everybody. This is a very informal Zoom meeting today. We usually just like to do this right before we get ready for future or national conference, as we all like to call it. So, my first question, I know some of you on the screen, but some of you I don't. And so I'm curious how long you guys have been in your roles, and if this is your first time going to future conference. So um, I'll just let everybody kind of chime in here and we'll start with Trinity because she's the first one on my screen. So,
Good morning, everyone. My name is Trinity Turner, and I'm with Central Washington Family Medicine Residency in Yakima, Washington. And I've been in GME for 4 years now, currently the residency manager here. And this is my third or fourth year going to national conference. I mean, future.
all right. How about you, Michelle?
I'm Michelle Underwood. I just started in March at the New
Oh,
Hampshire Dartmouth Residency Program at Concord Hospital. I have been with Concord Hospital for almost 20 years, but just new to this role. And it'll be my first time going to Kansas City.
yay. Oh, this is wonderful. Okay. Miss Diane.
Morning, everyone. Diane Bogart. I'm at Family Medicine Residency Spokane, and I'm not sure how many years I have been to Future or NCFMRS. It's been a long time. I've been here at the program for 44 years and about 14, I think, as coordinator. So, yeah, and I've been most every year. So,
All
welcome,
right.
everyone.
Thank you, Miss Diane.
Mhm.
We're going to go with Cynthia Profera first because we got multiple Cynthias online. So, oh, we can't hear you, Cindy. Can't hear you.
Sorry, I had to troubleshoot and multitask, so we're good.
Okay. Can't hear you, Cynthia Profera. We're going to let the other Cynthia go. We're good.
Okay.
There she is. Hi, friend. Long time no see.
Yes, awesome. Hello, everybody. I have big news. I'm retiring in 2 weeks.
You just like
Wow.
to rub that in. That's the third time you've told me that in like 4 days.
So,
My
Congratulations.
hero.
look, I have fish for earrings. I decided I was going to go fishing. So, yeah. So if anybody, they still are looking for my replacement. So I guess I need to blast that back out to the AFMA family, the job description. Did everybody see that? It was like, I think I sent it, I think I sent it out when we were all like bleeding from our eyeballs, waiting for people to graduate and stuff. So I'll re-forward that to the
Lovely.
listserv. So thank
That's the
you.
only way I'm describing the end of the year from now on.
Bleeding from our eyeballs. That's epic.
That's right.
All
And
right. So you won't be in Kansas City, I'm guessing. Nope.
no, but we will have five people, our PD and four residents will be represented there. So we always
Yay.
do a pretty strong, yeah, and we're going to have Kentucky Row. So that's kind of cool. We're going to
Fun.
be in a large, yeah, one of the large groups for Kentucky. So
Good
mhm.
deal. All right. Let's go to Michelle.
Hello. I have been in this role since December of 2023. I work at the Trinity Health Livingston Family Medicine Residency. I'm not actually going to Kansas City this year, but I wanted to join to see and make sure everything goes smoothly for the faculty and the residents that are going.
Perfect. Well, we'll miss you. Next
Yeah,
year, tell them you need to go.
yes, that's right.
Yeah. Okay, Cindy, does your
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, so everyone, my name is Cynthia Profera, and I'm at the Novant Health Family Medicine Residency Program in Cornelius, North Carolina. And I have celebrated my just over 10 years here. June 8th was 10 years here in this program. Before that, I worked at another residency program in the same state, in the same area here, and I was there for over 24 years. So I have more than 30 some years of GME experience as a coordinator. She's shaking her head.
She's been
Yes, and
around a
in
while.
the future, this will be my ninth or 10th year going there. In my
Yeah,
previous program, they didn't send coordinators.
gotcha. That seems to be a common theme. So, how about Megan? She's multitasking.
I am. My name is Megan. I work with the University of South Florida Tampa General Hospital program. We just accepted our first class July 1. So
Yay!
it's been busy but good. I've been in this role for a year, but I've been working with the school for about 15 years now. So new
Exciting.
but not new.
Have you been to the Future Conference? Did you go last year?
I did not go last year. This will be my first year. We were there as a program last year, and so our PD, I think he's actually speaking
Oh,
on AI as well.
awesome. Well, AI is the way of the world now. That's what we're doing. So,
The
perfect.
only thing we do now.
Right, right. I'm gonna let Melissa type in the chat about her because she doesn't have it, or she can unmute herself. You may be able to talk even though we can't see you. Yes. Hello, everyone. I also do not have a speaker. Oh, I have worked for 6 years now in Conway Medical Center. I will not be at conference this year. Well, we will miss you too, Melissa. How about Paula?
Hi, I'm Paula Bushor. I work with Annette Sheets at UPMC Family Medicine in Williamsport. I'm not going to Future Conference. I've never been there, but Annette's retiring soon, so I figured I should listen in, and I'm going to be taking on some of her role.
Is Annette coming this year?
Annette is not coming this year.
Boo to Annette.
Yeah, she decided she's not going to go this year, so
Oh, well, you tell her that I'm gonna miss her.
I definitely will.
Her. And how about Brittany?
Hey y'all.
We
I'm
can.
sorry, I missed the question. What was the question?
Oh, just tell us where you're from and are you coming to
Okay, so I'm with Southwest Mississippi Regional Medical Center in Macomb, Mississippi, and I just probably within the last 30 minutes ran across this email and just jumped on really quickly. We've never been, but we have some residents going, so I was just kind of like listening in to see what's what.
Awesome. Okay. Well,
Thank you.
hopefully we can give you the what's what.
Yes.
As some of the ladies on here have mentioned, I didn't at the beginning. I didn't introduce myself. Most of you know who I am, but I'm Pamela. I work for the University of Wyoming Family Medicine Residency Program in Cheyenne, Wyoming. I have been in my role for 27 years, so I've been around a long time. I also used to sit on the AFMA board with Becky and Diane here, and so I have been to the Future Conference, formerly known as National Conference for Family Medicine Residents, um, for I don't even know how many years, probably as many, if not more, than Diane mentioned earlier, 14 years or more. I've been going for a very long time. So um, lots of fun things to do at the Future Conference. The first thing that I hope that you all have done has got all your swag, right? That's the most important thing I think that everybody is so stressed about when we go to Kansas City. We want to make sure that we have all of our swag and we have our booth stuff that's prepared and ready to go. I'm a little apprehensive. I ordered a brand new display, and so fingers crossed it shows up in time and that it looks just like I want it to. If not, well, we have a backup plan. We'll go back to the old stuff, but hopefully we got some new stuff and I know that people, when they come to Kansas City, always want to collect swag. There's so many things out there. Every year, I'm just impressed with the different things that people come up with. And I will also be honest, I don't come home with any of it anymore just because I have so much stuff. There's lots of cool little stress balls and fidget spinners and poppets, and I've seen everything. Coffee, pens, and I had a little
University of
wine list.
Alabama does full jars of barbecue sauce every year.
Barbecue sauce. Yep. I know that New Mexico hands out coffee and so it's interesting to see all the different swag and one thing I would suggest, and this is something that I think a lot of people forget about, but have some sort of a bag that you can give out with your stuff, just because there's so many people wanting to fill their bags with stuff. Um, I this year am going out on a limb and I am not bringing any paper. We are not handing out any kind of documents anymore. We used to hand out like a fact sheet that talked about what our benefits were and that kind of thing. And I decided, you know what? It's heavy. It costs a lot to ship it or to bring it in a suitcase. So we're making QR codes for everything. So if they want to know about our program, they can scan a QR code and open it up um, and find out the information that they're wanting to find out about our program. Um, and I also will tell you to be fully prepared, or whoever's coming for you for your from your program to be fully prepared to have their feet hurt by the end of the day because it's a very hard concrete floor that we're standing on and walking on. I learned really fast, and I think maybe Diane taught me this trick years ago, to pay the extra $150 to have the extra padding underneath your carpet so that you have some sort of cushion there so that you're not standing on that hard concrete. Swollen feet, I think, are a common theme for all of us at the end of the future conference. And so um, just make sure that you're prepared and be ready to go on time. I am going to share my screen here. I think I can share my screen. I don't know if can you see my screen? Yes. Okay. So this email came out to all of us. I don't remember when, last week sometime, and I just wanted to kind of share this with everybody so that they can see what's the key points here. Most of us arrive in Kansas City on Thursday. Some of us travel early and get there on Wednesday, but I think the majority of people travel on Thursday now because of the times. So Thursday we can actually go over to the conference center and set up our booths. And I believe it's like 11 a.m. is what time that opens, if I'm not mistaken. So you can go over and get your booth set up if you choose to. And the Expo Hall grand opening is at 4:30 on Thursday, which is a different time. Last year, I believe it was 4. A couple years before that, I think it was 3:30, but they've kind of extended that. And so the hall is open from 4:30 to 7 on Thursday, and they're pretty in sync with the times. And so at 4:30, it's like the floods of heaven open, and like this mass students come pouring in the doors and up and down the aisles there. And at 7 o'clock, they tell us about 10 minutes before that the hall will be closing. I also will say that they have been pretty sticklers about making sure that people stick around until the times that they actually close. I love the note that they put on here for Saturday that says, please note all exhibitors are required to stay until 12 p.m. If you dismantle early, it will impact your ability to participate in future conferences. So I'm not sure how accurate that statement is because I think that most people are cleared out by 11 or 11:30 on Saturday. But I try and stick around until noon just to be just to follow the rules. But Friday is our long day at the conference. The expo hall opens at 9, but that is for residents only. And so I know that a lot of people that come and do displays aren't there from 9 to 10. So but if you want to be around for the residents, come by, stop by and say hello. 9 o'clock is the time that you're going to want to be there. Um, and it goes till 4 o'clock on Friday, which I was a little excited to see that it was ending at 4, not 5 p.m. So that gives us a little bit of a break there for our poor little feet. And then Saturday, obviously, we start from 9 and go until noon. How many of you are actually shipping your things to Kansas City? Are you having it shipped or are you bringing it with you? Most people shake their heads, right? So I was going to attempt to ship things this year, and then when I saw the prices from Fern, I decided, no, I'm not going to do that. I'll just pay $40 for the extra luggage or whatever it costs. I did see an idea though that somebody had posted about having their stuff shipped directly to the hotel that they're staying at. And I thought that was a genius idea. So I will be checking with the hotel that I'm staying at to see if next year I can ship my boxes directly to them and have them delivered the day that I'm supposed to arrive at the hotel. And then I don't have to worry about hauling things in the airport, and hopefully things don't get broken. But my program director hates that I have this giant suitcase and it's very bright and loud and it's like turquoise and has birds on it or something. I don't even know. He hates that he has to haul that back and forth to Kansas City, but it's just gonna be what it's gonna be. So um, also make sure that in that email, I'm gonna share my screen again here, that you are actually have your badges for all of the people that are going to be participating with your booth at the I was going to say NCFMR at Future. You want to make sure that they all have their names and stuff put into this system so that they can actually get their badges. If they don't have a badge, they will not be allowed into the expo hall. Okay. Um, and I think that's a very important thing to remember. Each distributor gets 6 badges that they can use at their booth. Our program, we use 5 of the 6 badges that we have. So there are some programs who bring massive amounts of people, and I have been known in the past, and I think others on here have as well, have shared their badge space and given a badge to some other booth if they need to have space for their peoples to come. So I highly encourage that you have a vast I can't think of the word I'm trying to say here, a vast representation of your program. So yes, you want to have faculty, yes, you want to have residents, yes, you want to have your program directors, your associate program directors. And I highly encourage that your program send an administrator, coordinator, manager, whatever your title is. We're the ones who kind of keep things in line. I know my program director wouldn't go if I wasn't there. So he's like, nope, you make sure everything is there. You have everything set up. You know what's going on. I just have to show up and do the talking. So, but I will say that a lot of the students want to talk to other residents, which I think is important, right? They want to know what the culture is of your program and kind of how things are laid out for your program. You know, they all want to know how much call they have to take and what the food is like at your hospital. And some of the questions are quite interesting, but having residents available to talk, I think is key. But I also would add that coming up with some sort of a schedule so that y'all can take breaks is important because you get tired of talking, especially on Friday. It's a very long day. So you talk a lot and you want to make sure that you stay hydrated. Bring a bottle so that you can fill it with water. They do have concessions that are available at the conference, but I think they're very pricey. For bottles of water and slices of pizza and all that good stuff. But they've done something really cool. They now have food trucks that are available during the conference so that people can go downstairs and grab food. But I highly encourage again that you do that in shifts because sometimes you stand in that line for a very, very long time. Word to those that are new, if you want to take a quick walk, you can just walk down the street a couple of blocks to Constantino's. It's a grocery store, but they have amazing food and they have an amazing deli. And that's typically where I end up getting my lunch from because I don't have time to stand in line for 2 hours to get the amazing nachos that they have there. So
So Pamela, let me share something. A lot of folks we've been sending people for years and years, and last year they actually were laughing at me because we rent a van and they literally just all pile in a van with the PD driving and all their luggage and all our swag and our exhibit and everything is all squoozed into the van. But at 7 o'clock that morning, because they left at 4 a.m., at 7 o'clock that morning, I texted the whole group and said, have a wonderful have a wonderful trip. Keep your receipts, keep your receipts. If you want to be reimbursed, keep your receipts. And they had the biggest laugh about that. And then they had to turn in their expense reports.
And none of them
And
had
they
receipts.
didn't have receipts. I'm like, you guys laughed at me, but you're the one who is going to get stuck with that $9 bagel. And
Right?
so that was pretty funny. But honestly, like some of those food trucks are kind of squirrely about getting the receipts and stuff in
Yeah.
the concession. So just remind your people who are going that they if it's not just a flat per diem that they're being reimbursed on, we have to submit actuals for everything. And the other thing that we do actually, we went ahead and invested in some a logo wear so that everybody looks the same while they're there. And so we have our blue polos and they have the logos on it. And then everybody wears, I don't know, one year they picked blue pants, one year they picked khakis. So I just thought that was a nice presentation and they aren't a little bit too much hodgepodge. But receipts, receipts, receipts. I'm going to do that again, even though like I have 1 foot out the door. I'm going to definitely remind them I'm not going to be there to help you with submit those receipts.
It's amazing what happens when you disappear. Trinity says, thank gosh, our institution still does flat rate per diem. Otherwise, none of them would be getting it first. I know how that goes. Ours is a flat rate too. It's just based off of per diem. So, but yep, I was gonna add along with what Cynthia just mentioned that the swag or the clothing that you wear. A lot of times they're looking for, oh, go find that blue Kentucky shirt, go find them in Kentucky Row, or Diane and Trinity and I are all in Whammy Row, right? So there's all the different Washington, Wyoming, Alaska, Montana, Idaho states. And so we have big flags that say, what state we're from, and there's like a little star of where our city is at within the state. But we all have different attire that we wear, and I will highly encourage you to be unique. Those of you who have been to Kansas City before know that I am always unique and I am from Wyoming. And so I wear my cowgirl hat or my cowboy hat and my boots. I even have a horse that I ride that I had last year that was a huge success. Um, but those things stand out. And so if you have something that's unique to your program, by all means, make sure that the people that are going for you have that stuff so that they are um, in the spotlight and people know where to find them. And one thing that I also would encourage you or the people that are in your booth to do is to walk around and see all the other things that are in the expo hall and what other booths are doing. I love it because I get to go and see all of my administrator coordinator friends that I don't get to see all year long. And so for me, it's kind of a um, social time that I get to hang out with people who know what I do and understand what I do. And it's a super refreshing time for me. Um, but I also think that my residents really enjoy it. They get to see other residents and talk to them about their programs and get ideas from other programs. And so I would highly encourage that the people that are going for you, that they walk around and talk to other places and they'll come back with bags of swag and say, oh, these are super cool. You will find something that's very unique for your program. My program have jackalopes. We have little squish ball jackalopes. And we ran out of them. And for the last 2 years, we've had people asking for jackalopes, jackalopes, jackalopes. And we finally got a whole new stash of them. Oh, look, Diane's digging out her jackalope. Gonna show everybody. Oh, yep, there's the
Cute.
jackalope. Yep, there's the jackalope. So people go, they'll come by and go, oh, can I have one of your jackalopes? The response to that is, not unless you want to know about my program. what would you like to know about my program? And then I'd be happy to share with you one of my jackalopes. But there will be people who just want to collect things and take them home for their kids and their grandkids and their brothers and sisters and husbands. And um, I will just say that I'm kind of stingy anymore, and those things cost a lot of money. And the purpose of them is to be able to hand them out to the applicants that are interested in our program, and not just because somebody wants something to put on their desk and collect dust. So others may feel differently, but I am kind of one of those that we spend a lot of money on our swag, and I think that the the importance behind it is to give it to those applicants that want to know about your program.
Mhm.
I also will say, make sure you know all the things about your program. And if you don't know, that somebody else is at your booth that can answer all of those questions, right? So my residents will be talking away to these applicants, and they'll ask a question and the resident will turn around and go, I don't know, Pamela, can you answer such and such a question? And so I always try and educate my residents ahead of time. These are the things that they're going to ask you. These are the things you should know, because I may not always be standing here. But what we've done is they do have a system through Future, and I can't remember what the name of the company is, but it's a thing that you can like swipe their badges, like you can scan their badges. Um, do any of you remember what it's called?
Moritz, and then it's like the swap app through
A
Moritz.
swap app or
Yeah,
something, yes.
swap
And
app,
so
yeah.
my program did that 1 year. It was an epic fail. It didn't work correctly. Half the information didn't come across. Then they sent us some report, but we ended up with somebody else's information from a different booth. And so we just decided not to do swap. And so what we do is we just take a picture of their badge on our phone, and then we have their name and their medical school. Um, and that way we know which applicants we actually talk to. We can actually like take a note that puts like their email address, so if they want to reach out, we can reach out to them and send them a message. But that swap app is available if that's something that your program is interested in, but you do have to pay for that. I think you get one or two things free, and then you have to pay for additional. And so we found it very difficult when there was 5 or 6 of us in our booth. We weren't going to pay the extra money just to be able to scan a badge and see what school or whatever they were from. So we just get around it by taking a photograph of their badge so we know their name and what medical school they were at. And it seems to have worked well for us, because I can just create a spreadsheet when we all get home, and then we have that when we start getting our ARIS applications. Typically, those are the first names that we look at, are the ones that have done rotations with us, or the ones that have reached out to us that are interested in our program, and then all the ones that we actually talk to at Future. I know that some programs don't come to Future anymore because they feel like um, they don't really get much out of it. I will say that our program has been very successful, and we every year have gotten one or two of the applicants that we have met in Kansas City that have matched our program. So it has been a successful thing for our program, and we will continue to do it. So um, there's lots of fun things to do outside of the conference itself. So make sure that you go online and look at the app, and they have different things that are posted. I know that they have like a dance one night. I know that our lovely immediate past president of AFMA, Hannah, she goes to that every year with her residents and faculty and always has a blast. And the last thing I think I will note to you all is, when you leave the expo hall, take your badge off. Don't wander around with your badge on. The only reason I say that is Diane might remember this, but we on one evening decided we would go out and have a great time, and there were some applicants that were out at this establishment having a wonderful time, making total fools of themselves, and they had their name badges on, and they became the talk of the conference about all the things that they had done the evening before. So I highly encourage you all to just take your badge off. That way it's not following you around when you're doing your after hours extravaganzas, is the best way to say it. So, um, do you guys have any questions for me that I can answer, or some of the others that are online can answer too if you have questions?
In regards to the swag, like how much should you bring?
That's a great question. I think it's kind of six of one and half a dozen the other. So we bring a little bit of everything. We have our little jackalopes. We have pins that have our logo on it. We have like Band-Aid buddies. We actually have cups with straws that we bring. But we don't bring like tons of cups, right? Because it costs a lot of money to ship all that stuff. So we bring a couple of boxes of that. We bring probably 150 to 200 jackalopes in our luggage. We have lots of pens. We have Band-Aid buddies. Um, we have bags that people can put their stuff in if they choose, if they want to carry stuff around. And um, I think it kind of depends. I don't remember how many people actually came through the hall last year. I know that there was quite a bit. It was one of the larger years of attendance. And I think each booth is a little different because we're all so different and unique, and it just kind of depends on like what the applicants are looking for. My program's more of a rural-based program, and so we get the applicants that want to know what, like, living in the Wild West, they call it, and they want to know if we ride our horse to work and that kind of thing. Whereas, the bigger places, like where Annette's from, that's they're in the thick of things, and they're going to get more of those urban people that are asking questions about your program. So, and when you run out of swag, you just run out
Can
of
ride
swag.
your horse.
What's that?
Can ride your horse.
I ride my horse at the conference, so it's fine. Yeah. But I would say bring what you feel is best. Even if you go home with some things, like for us, we have just learned that we just take a certain amount of things, and when we run out, we run out. It's it's better to run out of things than to have so much garbage. And I don't want to call it garbage, but so much
Then at the
stuff
end, giving
that
it
you have to
away.
haul it all back to, the goal is to give away the things that you're bringing so that you're not having to haul it all back. So, um,
And not just throwing it at people as they walk down the aisle. Here, would you like some?
right. Yeah.
Just so you don't want to
Here, do
carry
you
it.
want some do you
Then you're
want some
throwing
of
away your
this? Do you want
money.
a cup? Do you like
Mhm.
after I I will be the one to say I have so many cups. I don't need any more cups. I probably have 50 cups that I have like taken to the Goodwill that I've collected over the years from conference. And so some of them are super cool, but you can only collect so many things after a while, and then it's just kind of like, you fill up your suitcase and you give away all your stuff, and then you feel like you just come home with just as much stuff, but it's just from all the other programs.
Yeah, I just kind of fill up with however much room we have in the two big checked bags we bring, and if we same thing, like if we run out, we run out. I did find last year that like 50 to 100 of things, depending on the size, was plenty, and
Yeah.
we ran out of a couple things, but most of it we had a little bit left, but at least it was lighter on the way back. But yeah, I'm just like, go with God. Like, also another thing for swag stuff that we are doing again this year that we didn't do last year, that we had success with in the past is doing a drawing for something nice, as a way to sort of encourage applicants to like give you their contact information so you can follow up. And so like this year we're gonna raffle off an Ember mug, for anybody that came to see us that during the conference at the end of it. So that can be a nice way, like if you don't have a lot of money to buy a lot of new swag, depending on, I know everyone has tight budgets, then like buying something like a nice gift card or something and raffling that can be a nice way to get people to come see you.
Yeah. Good idea. Any other questions? Make sure they're ready to talk. That's all I can tell you. And another thing I would highly encourage is that you don't get sick during national conference. I got deathly ill last year. It was horrific. And thank goodness I had four other people because they had to do it all by themselves for 2 days while I was quarantined to a hotel room. So hoping, fingers crossed, knock on wood, that this year there's no sickness, no sutures involved. Hopefully we're good this year.
No, I second that. I've gotten sick every year that I've been to national conference afterwards, so much so that I'm just going to take the whole week off this year. And if I don't get sick, great. And if I do, I'm not there anyway. So like every year.
That's a great idea.
I was just
I
like, I
just
can't do
hope
this
that my
anymore. Like,
flight gets home in time. Because last year was the flight from hell.
oh no.
We ended up waiting. We ended up at noon waited the entire day for our flight that got delayed and delayed and delayed. We didn't leave till 1:30 in the airport the next morning, and we didn't get home here until 5:30. We were sitting in that brand new Kansas airport with no one. It was completely closed.
Ugh.
And they never had an explanation or anything. It was horrible.
Well,
Nervous about flying home at 6 o'clock again.
when the future reception does, oh, for AFMA, is that what you're talking about, Megan?
I don't have
The
a
future,
reception.
okay. Diane, maybe you can chime in on that because I am unaware of what the AFMA.
Hmm.
Let me find my little brochure because yes, we are having an AFMA reception there. And I can't recall right offhand. I've got too many irons in the fire. So
Sure.
bear with me
Are
just
we
a moment.
having any conference, any little meetings with AFMA on Friday morning?
That's, I think, what she's talking about. Yeah, I think they're going to
Who's
do
having
like
the reception?
a meet and greet kind of a thing, but I don't know the details of that. So Diane and
Okay, let me dig it out.
sure.
I'm
It's
looking too.
I know what we're doing donuts, so it's a morning event. Hang on, you don't need to watch me dig. One thing before we get back to AFMA, I just wanted to say too, last year, my experience was I always go early to the conference so that I'm there, get it all set up, it's ready. The residents and faculty fly in, come in, do the spiel that first day with everyone. And we had flight issues getting everyone there last year. And so that first day, that first 4 hours was me, myself, and I in our booth. So thank goodness I was there, or we would have had an empty booth. And Pamela and her folks were kind to go get me water. So do bring your water because I didn't, and it was kind of
Yes, bring a bottle for your water to be in. I encourage that highly.
yeah. Okay, I'll be right back with the AFMA stuff.
Sure. Yeah, every year that AFMA does a kind of little meet and greet or little kind of question and answer type of thing. And I'm guessing it's going to be on Friday. And I believe that this year, as Diane said, they're going to do donuts and bagels. So um, come for that and hang out with the AFMA peeps. And they would love to see you there. While Diane's digging, does anybody have any other questions? No. So if you don't go this year, I highly encourage you to come next year. Make sure it's in your budget. I think it's just a great experience, and it's a great way to show your program, how you can shine. I truly feel like it's a place where you kind of get into your element and you get to kind of talk about your program and your program directors, if they go, they get to see you kind of do your thing. And sometimes I think when we leave these conferences, our program directors have a little more appreciation for what we do and all the hard work that goes into planning and preparing and making sure that everything is done. And, I don't know about you guys, but I booked everybody's flights. I booked everybody's hotel rooms, I did all of those things ahead of time. So all they have to do is get in a car and show up at the airport and show up at a conference and enjoy themselves and have a good time. But there's a lot of planning that goes into it and making sure that all the details are covered and that you're ready to go. And as Diane said, planning ahead and coming early is a great idea. And I always take time for myself when I come to Kansas City if I'm coming early or I'm staying late. And it's a good thing. Friday, 8/1, 7:45 to 8:45. 2200 lobby. I don't know what that is, but
That's the main lobby when we walk right in.
okay. Right when you walk in there off of the street there by where the food trucks are, bring your drinks. There you go. Donuts and bagels. 7:45 to 8:45. Oh, that's early, Diane.
That's okay. We'll be up and ready to go anyway.
Yes. Oh, maybe. I don't know. I may not. I don't know. I enjoy sleeping in nowadays. I have to admit, sleeping in is a wonderful thing. That's great. Hopefully everybody can show up and participate and enjoy themselves. So
Another thing I wanted to bring up is I know that we also experienced the just the headaches with that, the scanner beeper thing. And I don't know, I think we got a really, I don't know, just a really bad taste in our mouth about how um just how inefficient it ended up being. And we're in conversations with folks anyway. So we ended up just bringing sort of, I guess I print out like, 4 pages and they can be on the different areas of the table if somebody's talking. But what our residents have liked, which you can't really do with a scanner thing, is they'll put little notes on that sign-in sheet late that night, like they'll go back through and they'll say, we really need to reach out to them, or when we see that application, we should flag it for, a deep dive review or whatever. And so we've had success with really just having people, that personal touch. Instead of logging your badge, we just, want you to write your name, what program you're, what school you're in, that little bit of demographics. But honestly, when we get back, that's when the work happens. That's when they're reaching out to maybe the 15 or 20 off that list of 100 that are high value targets is what we call them, and I think that also gives our residents some ownership over that, who talked to this person, and how do we want to reach out again, and let's make sure that we give them that personal touch. And I think they also might invite some people out to dinner on an evening as well, probably that Thursday night, Friday night. I don't know how they scoop them up, but so it's little things like that. And I always say that our greatest asset every year is the fact that we have 4 residents and a PD going. Or a faculty member. I said, that's really what these students are looking for. They're looking for that face-to-face conversation. Tell us about your program. And we've actually had people who probably would never have considered our program, but they had a really good interaction at our booth, and it made all the difference. And they, really changed their trajectory as far as the number, where we were on their potential list of programs. So I think from if a program is considering not going, I think that's a mistake.
I agree. 100%. I agree.
Right. I was in another industry for a long time. I did trade shows for like 10 or 15 years, like lots of trade shows. And, the one year is like, oh my gosh, they're not here. What's going on? Are they
right?
Are there problems or whatever? So it's almost like you have to, fly the flag and put the shingle out just so that you are there. But like our residents will come back and they'll really rag on programs that just aren't represented at a booth that they paid for. They think that's worse than not even being there. So I think that's something to remember too. I love the idea of a schedule, if you need a bathroom break, a concession break, whatever, but to make that somebody is there, 1 or 2 people are always there if possible, unless, Diane had the unfortunate situation where nobody was able to get into town. But
I helped Diane. I stood over there and just pointed in her direction, said, go talk to Diane.
We actually had that University of Kentucky really helped us out one time. We were I don't know, some people got stuck in a concession line and they were walking people over to our booth. You really should talk to them.
And I would highly encourage that. We get applicants who come to our booth and ask kinds of questions, and it's just like the questions that they're asking just don't fit with our mission or fit with like what our program is all about. And I know enough people because I've been around long enough and I know all these programs. I can say, oh, you know what? I know this perfect program for you. You should go talk to Diane over, at the Spokane booth, or, go over and talk to Michelle. Maybe her program is got some stuff that they could tell you. We're all there for each other. I mean, at the end game, right, is to get them to come to our program. but we're all there. We all have the same mission. We're all trying to recruit the same students. Um, and it's amazing to me the amount of students that you're going to meet. I have met students that are first year medical students, second year, third year, fourth year medical students. Um, and some of those I meet in their second year of med school, and then they come back in their third year, and then they come and do a fourth year sub-I, and then they match at my program. And so, some of these people you've met, and I'm proud to say that my program director was a resident in my program. Both of my associate program directors were residents in my program. Two of my other faculty, my core faculty, were residents in my program. And so we talk about grow your own. Well, we're growing our own. We're teaching them all the things they want to learn as a resident, and then they're staying on as faculty. And I think that speaks volumes about my program, and I'm sure that your programs probably do the same thing. But I also will add that you, in your role, are also very important. If you sit down and talk to my residents, I will tell you that 4 of 6 that match with us every year will say to my program director, Pamela's part of the reason why I'm at this program. Pamela's the reason why I'm here. She's the reason. She's the one who talked to me. She's the one that walked me through dark times. Or, God forbid, the resident had to soap at our program. We have soaped a lot, and we have gotten some really absolutely amazing residents through the soap process. The 2 residents that I'm bringing this year, one we got through soap, she tells the program director, Pamela's the reason why I'm here. She's the reason I said yes, right? The other resident that I'm bringing, he was a third year medical student with us. Did his entire third year of medical school in Cheyenne and did his family medicine and peds and OB and surgery and all those rotations in Cheyenne in our community. He came back and did a sub-I. He matched at our program, you know? So those are the people that you're looking for, the ones that are truly interested in and want to know like what the mission is. And you're going to get those who come and ask you the same questions. Well, tell me about Cheyenne. You should know about Cheyenne. If you're coming to talk to me in my program, you should know where Cheyenne is. You should know how to say Cheyenne, not Cheney, or, most of them, if they don't know enough about your program, they're really not that interested. Most of the ones who are coming and are seeking you out for a reason. The missions and the goals that you have in your program and in your institution is what they're aligned with and what they're looking for. And so make sure that the people that are at your booth know what your goals are and what your mission is and what you're teaching and all of those things. Because I have seen programs where they show up and they don't have the information and they don't know how to answer the questions. And the applicants will come and, they're like, well, I was over here and they didn't have this and they didn't have that. And do you have this? And do you have that? Um, and I let them kind of be the driver. They're asking the questions about what they want to know about our program because all family medicine programs have to teach the same thing. And I think that that's the most important thing is we all have the same guidelines that we have to fulfill, right? We all have the same PEDS things that we have to meet and surgery and ER and IC. All of those things are the same for all of us, but we all have our own niche and we all have our own things that we spotlight and that we like to show off. And I think it's important that you do that for each of your programs. And don't be afraid to talk about your weaknesses either. I think that that's important. We've had applicants who want to know what our strengths are and what our weaknesses are, and we're flat out honest about it. You have to be honest and tell them the things because if you give them all the bells and whistles and then they actually match at your program and they find out that it's not all the bells and whistles that you promised, then it's a big red flag. So we all have strengths, we all have weaknesses, and we need to be able to share those things and explain to the applicants why we're sharing those things.
Yeah, I have some that's interesting you say that because we have a sister program that's like 2 miles away from us and they bill themselves as like this OB heavy family medicine program. All of their faculty are like OB trained and all this stuff, but then um they we get more deliveries than they do.
We all got to deliver babies,
So
right? It's just
I
an
mean, like, I
experience,
mean,
no,
I'm
right?
just saying, like, so, I mean, when they come to us and they're like, oh, I really like OB and I really would like to, get my 40 deliveries for OB so I can move on to deliver after residency. And I tell them every time, like, it's not going to it won't be here. Like, not at this program. You're not going to get all those deliveries, but like, I can get you the experiences that you need, but it won't be within this program. Like, I can send you out. I can refer you to other programs that are super OB heavy. It's not that we don't want you, but I don't want you to come here thinking that I'm going to give you something and I'm not going to be able to give it to you. And at the end of the day, it's going to be you that doesn't get it, but it's going to be me that struggled for 3 years to get it for you. And
Right,
I know that can't happen. So I'm not putting
right.
myself in that position. But I mean, there is absolutely no reason why you can't just be honest. I mean, we all know each other really well. So, I mean, if I know somebody's looking for a program in the Midwest that is heavy in OB, I know exactly where to send them if I know my area correctly.
Right.
And I mean, I don't want to send people out of my program, but at the same time, I don't want to bring people in and have them thinking that they're going to get something in my program that they're never going to get and be unhappy and then spread that around the world either.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we do the same. We tell all of our applicants, we are very OB heavy. Like our first years have 100 deliveries at the end of their first year, each of them. And so if OB is not something that you love, if you come to our program, we require that you do a lot of OB. It's just part of our curriculum and it's part of what we teach. And so if you're not into OB, that's fine. You still have to learn it. You still have to, fulfill the 4 months that we require. And then if you don't want to do any after that, fine. But in the 4 months that you're doing OB, you're going to get a lot of deliveries. So you just better be prepared, right? And those are things that we share. And some of the applicants are like, oh, I don't want that. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
interested in that. And that's fine.
Yep.
But there are just as many out there who want those things. So
100%. And I mean, I don't think that there's any harm in us knowing each other's like strengths and weaknesses and saying, you know what? Like, if you want to be, you can go see Pamela over here, in Wyoming. But if you want OMT and you want a whole lot of osteopathic principles, like come see Becky. You know what I
go
mean?
see Becky. Yep.
I mean, so I don't think that's the whole reason why we network, right?
Right. Right. I know that somebody mentioned that, social events or taking somebody to dinner. I think Cindy talked about that and she disappeared. I think she got oh no, she's still there. There, I see you though. But one of the things that WAMI does is they do a big social event and they give us like little tickets and we can invite the applicants to come to the big social event. I think it's a great experience. My experience with it was not very successful for our program to invite people to come to that social. It was more of a, oh, I get a free drink and I can go get some alcohol and then I can go on and do my thing as a student. But if you're finding those connections and you feel like it's great to ask the students to come back, or that you want to have them come and see your program or whatever, I highly encourage that you do that. One of my associate program director who's coming to future conference with me, when he was a medical student, he came to our booth 5 times in 3 days. And he kept coming back and asking questions and kept coming back and asking questions. And I told my program director, he's gonna match at our program. He's like, oh no, he's not. He's gonna go back home where he's from. I said, mark my words, he's gonna match at our program. And he did. He matched at our program because he kept asking all those questions and he wanted answers. And he actually emailed the program director the day before he had to submit his rank list and asked some specific questions regarding procedures and things that he was really interested in. And the program director took the time to respond back to him. And he'll tell you, I picked this program over this program because they answered my questions. They were attentive. They knew, they were paying attention and it wasn't just hearsay or just giving me what I wanted to hear kind of a thing. So the applicants that are really interested in your program, they're going to come back multiple times during the conference and ask multiple questions and maybe even the same question over and over again, just to make sure they're getting the same answer each time. And they may talk to the 5 different people at your booth just to see if you all have the same answer. And you will also get people who come to your booth that are vendors who are trying to sell you things. They want you to buy their curriculums, or they want you to buy their medical device, or they want you to buy their butterfly um, ultrasound machines. Like those are other things that you're going to get a lot of as well. So just make sure that everybody that's in your booth is on the same page. And we're not here to buy things. We're here to talk to applicants and that kind of thing. So anybody else have any other questions that we can answer for you? I know we're at our time, but if people have questions, I'm more than happy to stay on and answer.
I think this is less current. Maybe 5-6 years ago, there were a lot of students that just really were not viable applicants. They'd been out of medical school for 11 years, and we didn't really know the schools that they had attended. And so one of the things that we really tried to learn how to do was to be incredibly polite and incredibly respectful, but not allow them to commandeer this entire booth space and commandeer 2 or 3 people while your target audience is just walking by, because we're incredibly polite society.
Right.
And so that was one of those things that the residents had to start sharing amongst like the next group that would go the following year. We really have to learn how to, this is our criteria. If you have graduated medical school more than 3 years ago, then you're just going to be filtered out. It's just not going to be, or you have to pass your exams. I mean, you can't have 7 fails or whatever. So these are,
Oh,
these are
come
just
on. Why
conversations
not?
that they got sucked into and then realized 45 minutes had gone by and they hadn't had a good conversation with um, a, a, a,
A
a
viable
viable
candidate.
candidate.
Yeah.
Right. So those were things you might want to
Yeah.
actually teach your residents and possibly your faculty.
Mhm.
We have the nicest faculty on the face of the earth, and they'll spend an hour and 15 minutes with somebody who is just not somebody who we would even filter in during the application process. And so we really need to know how to not waste our time, be incredibly thoughtful and considerate, but still move that group on, because what was happening is people weren't nudging their way in. They were just walking on by. And that was frustrating. It's definitely gotten much less of an issue the last 3 years, I think. I don't know why. I haven't been there, but these are the conversations that we had. And so I was like, the residents who've been there and have maybe even stepped into those conversations and didn't know how to get themselves out of it might need to be working with the first year, the newbies who have not been there.
Have an enforcer. That's my role.
Like,
I'm the enforcer at the booth. And when I start to hear those types of conversations,
right.
I'll step in and go, "Oh, Dr. So-and-so, can you come over here and answer?" And I'll step in and start talking to the applicant and just cut it off really short. I'm like, "Nope,
Right.
we don't." I had another booth, bless her heart. She kept sending all these applicants to my booth and they're like, "Well, we have multiple failures." And she's like, "Oh, go see Pamela." And I'm like, "Why do you keep sending these people over here? I don't want somebody who's failed their exam 5 times." Like, no, like you got to quit sharing that information. And so finally, these students, it was the same year, the same girl came. She goes, "Well, she told me," I said, "Honey," I pulled her aside and I said, "Honey, I am really sorry, but I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't know any program in this entire conference hall who's going to look at your application with 5 failures.
Right.
Like it's just not something that's going to happen. Like
Well, on our website, we have the criteria for application, and that would be a great little QR code genius to make.
Yeah, that's what we have.
Say,
Yeah.
application requirements.
Yeah.
And then if somebody has a question, because that was the questions, how many fails will you take? What schools do you accept? Da, 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 da. And
Mhm.
say, you know what, right here, we'll link you straight away to our
Yeah.
website, and that QR code will tell you everything. That worked.
It does work.
Mhm.
Yep.
That worked great.
Yep.
Because
But
you will get folks who think that they can just somehow convince you to make an exception for some random person you've never met.
no
Like, you can't do
exception.
that. Like you can't do that. Like, we're not going to make an exception for you. And so, yeah, I love that idea.
Medical board licenses won't allow
Yeah, it's like
applicants.
literally you can't get a license in our state with that transcript. So you can't come
I
with
don't know any
us.
state
Like,
would allow somebody to have that many attempts and not have
yeah.
passed.
Oh no. Yeah, that's crazy.
You point them to that list that says if you've had more than 4 attempts at your USMLE and you haven't completed them within 7 years, that you cannot be licensed. And these are the only states in which you will ever be able to be permanently licensed. And you just give them that QR code. Hey,
Yeah.
you might want to do some research before you just stop at every table hoping somebody's going to give you an
Mhm.
opportunity.
Right.
It wasn't from national conference, but a couple years ago, we had someone who had like 6 failures on one of their, and like, it was like a total of 9 exam failures. And they were like harassing us, and we kept telling them, it was like, no, like you're literally not. I finally told like our, at the time, the recruitment coordinator, I said, just block the number. Like they are like they were calling her and leaving voicemails, like being like, well, why can't you look at it? And it's like so yeah, we blocked her number. But yeah, it was crazy because I was like, no one's gonna give you a job, please. And every year I see her application errors. Now I know the person's name. Like it's like
Right.
It's going to keep happening though, and it's going to get more
hmm.
prominent than it's ever been. I just
Oh
feel
yeah.
like, with the generational changes that are happening right now, they're going to keep doing it.
The point is that there are more students than there are residencies, and there's more medical schools every year opening their doors. And so I think it's becoming a common theme. And just know what your program accepts and what they don't accept, what medical schools they look at. And I'll just speak for my program. We always said, oh, we're not going to take them if they graduated more than 2 years ago. That is not the case anymore. Like we have 3 amazing residents right now who graduated from medical school over 10 years ago. And they are absolutely phenomenal. Like they're on point. They're way ahead of their peers because they've been practicing medicine, and they're all from foreign medical schools. And so that, and I know that some programs don't accept foreign medical grads, and that's fine. But, if your program does, just be sure that you're all on the same page and you know what the expectation is and what you allow and what you don't allow. And again, you're going to get those who come and talk to you. And we have one young man who comes back every year who's been there for the last 4 years, and he gets the same answer every time. You don't meet the criteria for our program. Have a nice day. And the next year, guess who shows up? I even know his name. I could tell you what his phone number is. I have it memorized because he calls me every year and wants to know. And my response is the same every time. But, you know, sometimes there's just that diamond in the rough that you just don't expect, and they're super awesome. So. All right. Well, I'm not going to keep you all online anymore. I know that we're 10 minutes past the hour. If you all have questions, I'll put my email in the chat here. If you have questions, feel free to just shoot me an email and I can answer questions for you. See you soon. Those of you that are coming, those of you that aren't, I'm sorry that you don't get to come, but hopefully you can come next year. And if you don't come to the NCFMR Future Conference, hopefully we see you at RPS next year, and the RAD conference that AFMA puts on. And for you, Miss Cynthia, you enjoy retirement, girl, because we are all headed your direction someday. Super jealous. You could catch some fish for me.
Thank you,
Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you. Have a good
you're
day.
welcome.
Good job. Hang on. Let me.
Short and sweet.